When you think of tech, you think of things that help you, right? Well, most of it does, but not the ones we're going to show you in this video. We're going to be going over some of the worst tech fails of all time. From faces getting fried to phones exploding, you will want to stay to see it all. Number 10. Electrical face masks. Back in the 90s, beauty was all the rage and people would go to drastic measures just to look better. Well, the electric face mask in fact did the exact opposite. Many people back then were oblivious to the effects this item would soon cause to their face. After prolonged use of this item, it would start to burn and scar your face from the very high electrical currents. This mask was meant to stimulate collagen protection and kill the bacteria that causes pimples. But I guess the technology back then was not ready for this. In turn of all the traumatic injuries to the users, the company got so many lawsuits that they went out of business and shut down. Number 9. Hydrogen blimps. Frenchman Henry Giffard made the first hydrogen blimps in 1852. This success did not last long, due to the problem the hydrogen in the ships soon caused. Soon after the first launch, the hydrogen blimp exploded due to the amount of hydrogen there was. Since hydrogen was the lightest element in the world, it was inexpensive and easy to obtain. This made a great material to put in airships to make them float. But there was only one problem. Hydrogen is a super flammable material, and when a single spark was ignited upon the airship, it had burst into flames. After this happened, all hydrogen airships were discontinued and never used again. Number 8. Nintendo Virtual Boy. In 1995, Nintendo tried to cash in on the virtual reality craze. Sort of. That year, the company released the Virtual Boy console, which didn't technically count as virtual reality. It offered gamers a 3D experience they couldn't get on TV screens or handheld devices. Unfortunately, the Virtual Boy didn't click with customers, and it was discontinued less than a year after its debut. The Virtual Boy caused many problems such as headaches, nausea, and dizziness, which left them with a good amount of lawsuits and more hate towards the system. With around 770,000 units sold, it remains Nintendo's worst selling console of all time. Number 7. Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Have you ever had your smartphone explode or go up in flames? I haven't, but there is an unlucky bunch who did have this happen to them. In August 2016, several Samsung Galaxy Note 7 smartphones were reported to explode or even go up in flames. The engineers at Samsung were baffled on how this could happen. After researching further into this product, they discovered that the corner of the battery was too small, which could disrupt the electric signals and send out a discharge. After this, many people had to worry about their phones exploding, so they took back most of the phones that were manufactured with that defect and started remaking the phones. Number 6. Microsoft Clippy. When you think of a virtual assistant, you think of something helpful that does what you ask. Well, with Microsoft's Clippy, it was the exact opposite. Clippy was always in the way of what you were doing and where you were typing. He always popped up in the worst places and never actually successfully helped the user. Most people hated it, and even worse, the owner of Microsoft, Bill Gates, agreed that people hated it and announced his retirement publicly in 2001, where the crowd made a standing ovation. Number 5. Apple Puck Mouse. Most computer mice are supposed to have a comfortable, ergonomic shape, but not the Apple Puck Mouse. This mouse had a flat circular shape that was so uncomfortable, most people threw it away without even thinking about the $20 they spent to get it. The Apple Puck Mouse, the first USB mice to exist, but it never went big due to its falling popularity and horrible design. Apple saw this flaw and discontinued the mouse in July of 2000. Number 4. Windows Vista. When Windows Vista launched, it was like a train wreck of bugs and computer users' worst nightmare. Microsoft didn't think much about compatibility for Vista. Many prevailing software and hardware were incompatible with many things. The operating system included many bugs, such as the status bar bug. When refreshing a file, the size of it showed an incorrect reading. Many times it showed the size as doubled. One more example of this is the start menu and log off bug. Many computers confirm whether you want to log off or not when you decide you're done for the day. But not for Windows Vista. This computer would immediately log off, so when you press it on accident, everything you have opened is lost. Number 3. Nokia N-Gage. Back in the year 2000, many people carried both mobile phones and handheld game consoles. Nokia combined these two devices into one unit and launched the N-Gage in 2004. The N-Gage was not a failure of ideas, it was a failure of implementation. The device had to be disassembled to change games, and to use it as a phone, the user had to hold the phone sideways, with its thin edge against their head. This led to its mocking nickname of the taco phone. Along with design flaws, there was also a severe lack of good games to play. Number 2. Soulja Boy Soldier Game. The popular rapper Soulja Boy tried his hand in the gaming industry and released the Soldier Game. The Soldier Game was advertised as its own console, but it was really just a branded emulator. It got a lot of hate due to this fact, and that the console was illegally taking games from Nintendo and other licensed games and putting them on their console. This led to a lot of legal trouble with big companies and was eventually discontinued. Number 1. Google Stadia. Google Stadia was made to stream cloud games in a newer, faster way. But not only did this fail consumer expectations, it failed Google's expectations, with the Google Stadia having massive amounts of lag, crashes and frame rate drops. This made the platform unreliable to most people who wanted to use it. This led to the platform gaining little traction and lasted less than 4 years, which is not good for a new company. The company has announced that it will discontinue the platform in January of 2023. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to subscribe and check out my channel.